Joining me right now is Kiwi flyweight juggernaut Kai Carl France. What's going on, Kai?
So, bro, thanks for having me again.
No doubt, man. No doubt. Let's go back to your promotional debut, UFC Adelaide. You were training for Ashkan Mokhtarian. He pulls out real late. You
Yeah,
get Elias Garcia on short notice. How much of an effect did that have on your performance, having to change opponents?
yeah. Like I know injuries happen all the time, but it's just convenient that it's happened twice now for Ashkan. I had a few people telling me he was never gonna show up. So yeah, like I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I showed up, I made weight, but for a few days, yeah, I was in limbo of even if I was gonna have a fight. Having 50 people messaging me coming over to Adelaide saying, "Hey, are you still fighting? What about this money we've all spent on tickets, hotels, travel?" Um, so yeah, for a few days, I didn't know what I was doing. I had rumors that I was going to go up to bantamweight to fight, and then they're saying that they wanted a local guy as well. So I had so many flyweights around New Zealand and Australia calling me out saying, "Pick me." I had so many messages, man, like from managers saying like, who do we talk to take the fight? Because we'll take it. And I'm like, I'm reading it, but I'm not responding because I already had a fight lined up against Elias. He already accepted it, and then from the matchmaker, we got told that he's quite light, so he can make flyweight in a week. So yeah, um, that like little I had a little bit of not a cheat meal, but I had like a morning where it's like, oh, the fight's at bantamweight, you can eat again. And I was like, okay, sweet, I can feel like normal. And then in the afternoon, they're like, hey, stop eating, it's back at fry. I'm like, so like it's just one of those things that like I just had to stick to my diet. I didn't go up too much, and you can see I made weight pretty easy. So yeah, it was one of those things where we don't actually focus too much, or personally don't focus too much on my opponent. I leave that up to my coaches, and this is like a prime example why when you get an opponent replacement, you don't want to be focusing on too much of the little details because when it changes, you're gonna overthink things and be like, oh, I put so much into this. So that's why I just work on myself. That's the only thing I can control is what I'm gonna bring to the table and what I'm good at. So that's what I focus more on. I let my coaches kind of do all the finer things and break down fight footage and all that. So yeah.
You haven't competed at flyweight for a long time. Did you have a hard time getting your weight down that last fight?
Not at all. I had 12 weeks to slowly bring my weight down. So I did it the right way by doing it slowly, and then I had a nutritionist as well. I was working with Ian Lowry's from Lockhart, and then it was a funny thing. So I was working with him more fight week, and then week of the fight, he's like, "Oh, sorry, bro, I'm boys with Elias. I'm gonna be in his corner," and I was like, well, I was fine with it, but it's like it's just funny how things happen like that. So he was in his corner, but he only does my nutrition, so it's not too much of like a sabotage in my camp because hasn't seen any of my fighting or anything. Like he's only seen what's online. He hasn't been in my camp, so it wasn't too much of a big hiccup. But then he gave me this new guy, Geordie, he's got a business called Fight Dietitian, which is awesome. This guy, like, I got along with him really well, and I've been working with him to this camp as well. So he got my weight down. I only had to cut a kg on the day in the bath. I was on weight in an hour, and I was eating before the weigh-ins. So the most I've ever ate on fight week, and the lightest I've ever been. So that's why I'm going to do it again this time. And I'm on track. I'm pretty much exactly the same as where I was last time. Well, the time frame I've been given, I'm about the same as where I was last time. So yeah, I'm happy with my weight is, and I'm in peak condition to do the whole thing again. So yeah, feeling good, feeling ready.
Yeah, a lot of people were impressed by your performance. Did you feel you proved more by coming back after some adversity early in the fight compared to like getting a quick finish?
Yeah, I think that showed, why I should be in the UFC because a lot of people would have been, overwhelmed with scenarios that the fight would take place. But you could see I was never too phased by what was happening. I knew that I could always recover, get on top and then remain dominant, which in the judges' eyes, you couldn't get more dominant than that. How many strike the differential I had between us. So yeah, I was happy with my performance. I gave my coach a heart attack though when I was caught in that triangle. It was getting tighter, but when I slammed him, I anticipated he was going to go for my arm, and he did, but I already had turned it over to prevent from breaking. So that was defended straight away. And then after that, I felt like I broke him mentally. Like, shit, I can't stop this guy. I'm going to have to. He was like, I don't really know a way to win this fight now because I can't submit him, I can't knock him out. So yeah, from there, that's where my conditioning took its place, and I could stay on top and kind of just punish him. So yeah, it felt good. I was good to go 3 rounds in the UFC. That ring time is crucial just to get comfortable. But making that walk to the UFC, and then waiting for Bruce Buffer to turn out my name. When Eugene, my coach, was in my ear, he was like, "This ain't your first rodeo," and then that kind of clicked in my head, like, yeah, I've done this, nearly 30 times now. Once you get past all the bright lights, all the people around you, all the big things, the big UFC you put on such a pedestal, that's what made me more comfortable because it's just another cage, same shit, different day. So that gave me confidence, and then I'm happy I could put on performance that is what I'm used to doing, not just those UFC jitters. They're real, but if you're supposed to be there, then you'll perform at your best.
You had a training camp for UFC Adelaide. That was in early December. You're getting a quick turnaround for UFC 234. It's around 2 months, I think. What are the benefits of having back-to-back camps for you?
The benefits is having that fight, or the feeling of fighting fresh in your mind. Like, how hard it is to mentally push yourself past those barriers. So it's not unfamiliar territory. Going into the next camp, you're like, what's capable. You know what you're expected of to get ready for a fight. It's not like you took a month off, blow up, your weight blowing up, and then you're getting back into it. It's just fresh. So I did have to pull back a little bit just so I don't overtrain. Which was fine. I got to just at least let my body heal and then get back into it. So now, everything's kind of worked out well. It's been nice having Shane and Israel in camp with me. They're fighting on the same card. So we're on Christmas Day, 6 a.m. training together. So it's a lot easier when 2 other guys are there pushing with you. So yeah, it's been a good camp. No injuries or anything like that. And we've had good numbers throughout the holidays. So it's this time of year, especially in New Zealand, we have such a good summer. People, go away for holidays and come back in a few weeks. So we had a few guys that stayed in Auckland. We're like, if you're staying in Auckland, just come in and train. We need bodies, and we had a few bodies that stayed behind. So it was good to have guys that sacrificed a little bit just to help us out. Which in the long term, we'll return the favor when they have fights.
Peaking can become an issue for many fighters. How do you keep yourself from burning out during this extended training camp?
Yeah, I listen to my body. Easier said than done. I've also got, that system we follow with our HRV, our heart rate monitors and stuff. So it was a bit of it wasn't a shock, but my body did drop a little bit with just maintenance stuff. But then it started to feel normal again, and then after a while, you just get used to that feeling of just being not tired, but like, when you're peaking your cardio and all that, it's nice to have that feeling where you don't feel tired, or like you can push past that boundary of fatigue, and that's when you're getting fight ready. When those workouts that were hard at the start of the camp become, not the easiest, but manageable. So yeah, it's a fine art though, overtraining and pulling back and not undertraining, because you always want to show up and give your best, but if your body's not performing the way it should be, You just need to, be honest to yourself and be like, okay, I do need to take a rest day here or there. That will help me in the future or prevent injuries because you don't want to be over training things that shouldn't be. But yeah, it's been a smooth camp. Hopefully, I said that last time and then Ashkan pulled out. So, so hopefully this time, my opponent shows up. So yeah, feeling good.
Your next opponent is Raulian Paiva at UFC 234. A lot of people were expecting a bigger name for you in your second fight. Did you feel the same way?
I guess so. Yeah, people are expecting me to fight, a ranked opponent, or I think there's only about 22 flyweights right now in the division. A few of them have been released, or like a lot of them have actually been released, and the others have gone up to bantamweight. So, yeah, I wasn't surprised. I know he's like tough opponent, so it's going to be his debut fight. He came off a win on Dana White Contender Series, the Brazil edition, and it's quite similar to the style I got into the UFC, I guess, with the Ultimate Fighter being fighting in front of Dana White. He did the same thing, and he won against a tough Brazilian. So he's got an 18-1 record, 12-fight win streak, all 12 decisions on his record. So he's tough. He's most of his fights have been in Brazil, so you got to take that in consideration. I feel like I have more experience just in overall the variety of opponents. I've fought a lot of guys, a lot of different looks, a lot of experience as well. So I feel like I have the advantage having already fought in the UFC. Got that monkey off my back. There's a lot of pressure trying to fight up to everyone's expectations that you should be performing like you did in your previous fights, all that kind of thing. So that's what he'll be doing coming into this fight. And I haven't taken it lightly at all. So that's why I've trained, straight away after my last fight. It's all good to sit back and look at, count the pennies. I got fired the night in Adelaide, but I wanted to get on the Melbourne card. I knew it was a quick turnaround, but they don't come down to, Australia and New Zealand often. So when they do, just got to jump on the opportunity and keep that momentum going. So that's what I'm expecting to do. I'm looking for a finish for this fight. I'm going to take it to him. I want to put on another performance like my last in Adelaide, and hopefully, give the fans a fight that they can remember, and keep the flyweight division alive.
When you break him down, when you talk to your coaches about Paiva, is he similar to any former opponents you have faced?
I guess he's quite similar to my last opponent, Elias, in the height difference, and his kind of structure. I think he's had a few more. The way he stands, it looks like he's had a few Muay Thai fights. So he's got some good hands, good kicks. He's good at scrambling, it will be a fun fight. Then we'll be in a lot of transitions. Being from Brazil, obviously his jiu-jitsu is going to be world class. So I'm prepared for everything for this fight. So I'm not just limiting myself to one technique or one punch knockout. If it's an indicator of what my last fight will be like, then I'll be more than ready. I want to showcase all my skills. I've cleaned up little things that I did in my last fight that I won't make those mistakes in this fight. Well, I can look out for and critique myself on those. But I'm just kind of more focused on myself. So, like I said at the start, I let Eugene kind of look at all that fight footage and of my opponent, and he's the one that will break it down, and that's what we've been doing on the pads. I don't really get too specific in what I need to do. I just listen to the call and I just do it. So, yeah, another week of kind of fine-tuning, and then we fly over to Melbourne on a Monday with Izzy and Shane. So that would be cool because, having three guys fighting on the card, you get, a lot of cornermen to come over, and to have them backstage, it will feel like just, another day at the gym. That would be nice to kind of keep the nerves down, and then make that walk out to the Rod Laver Arena, which I've been watching the tennis all this week, and it's kind of surreal thinking I'll be fighting there in 2 weeks. So yeah, it's going to be a fun fight, and I'm looking forward to it.
It seems like you do well with fighters that are taller than you. your history, your track history against guys like that. You know, the style of striking that you bring forth, they catch punches easily from you.
Yeah, it's because I spar Dan Hooker and Israel at Adesanya all the time. So I'm just used to like throwing my right hand, you know, a bit like going upwards. So it's just something I've had to get used to. I feel comfortable against a taller fighter. If I had to fight someone smaller, it would throw me off a little bit just because I've never had it. I'm always the shortest. I'm always the smallest. So it's something I've just had to kind of get used to. Yeah.
All right, UFC 234, February 10th.
Yeah.
It's going to be a exciting matchup. I think this matchup shows that the flyweight division is going to live. It's not dead anytime soon.
Yeah, this fight was actually announced before it's reassuring that it was after Henry and TJ's fight, because apparently that was supposed to be the fight that would decide the destiny of the division. But to have my fight, you know, scheduled after that, and then I've seen there's another flyweight fight announced in Nashville. It's kind of it's a good thing that they're keeping us around. I guess they wanted to not trim the fat, but keep the division really not elite either. What's the word? Just exciting. I think the guys that they've kept around, they're the guys that are going to put on exciting fights. They're fighting for their spot in the roster. You know, one win one or two wins in the UFC, you're already a ranked opponent, which means, you know, you can climb the rankings a lot faster and fight those, you know, top tier guys that already had names. So that's my goal this year, to kind of fight as much as I can, climb the rankings. You know, I'm glad the flyweight division's still alive, because it would have been so. It wouldn't have felt right getting in there and then, you know, the division gets cut and I couldn't have shown my full potential in the UFC. So I'm glad I have another fight scheduled and we can do it all over again. And, you know, that memory's still fresh in my head. Me jumping on the cage after I won, and, you know, in my not my hometown, but Australia is like a hometown to me, just because the Anzacs really get behind you. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm 100% motivated and focused for the fight and to get the W.
Yeah, man, the flyweight division is kind of looking like the heavyweight division in a way, pertaining to like you could win like 2-3 fights and then you're at the title. You're knocking on the door. So I'm excited for you, Kai. Thank you for your time, and good luck at UFC 234.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it all the time, and thanks for the chat.